Yes.
ウィーンってなるよね。
These are hard.
ちょっと待って、これってさ、
Try hard doesn't sound good.
いいね、その言葉、
Oh my
大
goodness.
好きです。
Welcome to the Lost in Japanglish channel, delivered to you in a bilingual format in English and Japanese.
ロスジャパチャンネルへようこそ。日本語と英語のバイリンガル形式でお送りしています。
I'm Chieko,
そしてやっこです。
and today we are talking about phrases that we get asked to translate that don't have great translations.
これね、どうしてもね、タイトル難しいって感じなんですが。
タイトルも難しい。
難しい。長くて。とにかく訳すのが難しい表現。
はい。
そこら辺を見ていきたいと思います。
Yes, and today we're talking about Japanese phrases that are hard to translate to English.
そうです。
So, Yaku-chan, my question for you is, what do you get asked to translate これ英語ってどうやって言うんですかって、何聞かれる一番
一番かもしれないのが、よろしくお願いしますだよね。
Yes.
ウィーンってなるよね。
Hi. Let's start with the actual direct translation of よろしくお願いします。
ちょっと待って、これってさ、ちーちゃんだったらドレクトに訳す。すごい困るんだけど、これ自体が。
It's really hard, yeah. So, よろしくお願いします means something along the lines of thank you and I'm sorry for being a burden. Please take me on.
そう。なるほどね。厳しいけど、take care of me とか、please do well みたいなのもあるし、I don't know, it's just really a lot of things just put
It is.
in there.
It is. Because we're saying sorry to be a burden. We are saying thank you for taking care of me. We understand you're taking extra responsibility. I don't know. There's a lot of things we're saying in this. よろしくお願いします。
そう。よろしく is actually a very old version of 良いだよね。良いことを because of all of that 良いことしてくださいみたいな。I think there's a little bit of that as well. Because you are such a burden, because you need someone to help you みたいな。So please do something good for us. っていうのをすごい繁忙な言い方で言っている。
はい。It's a funny saying. But let's talk about what are the scenarios that you would say よろしくお願いします and then what we would say in English instead.
Okay. だね。やっぱそう考えないとダメだよね。じゃあ、で、初めて人に会いましたと。そういう時にも、一応なんか、初めましてと言いながら、すぐよろしくお願いします。I think that would be something we would say. How would that translate into English? Or is there something that you would say in English?
I feel like this idea of よろしくお願いします, there isn't a great translation. And really, we would just say, it's nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. 終わり。
Okay. じゃあ、nothing っていうことでいいんだね。
Yes. Like I said, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for being my friend. Or something like it would be weird.
So what would you say when 初めて会いました。で、ペチャペチャ話しました。で、最後に when parting の時によろしくお願いします。I think we say that as well when we leave. その場合、what would you say in English?
So I think the most appropriate thing is to say, it was so nice to meet you. Thanks for your time today. 終わり。
やっぱそこなんだ。
それで終わり。See you later. Have a great day.
What other situations can you think of where we say よろしくお願いします? Like, I think there's so many.
The one that I hear the most is if I were to be talking to you and you might say, ジョン君にもよろしく. I feel like we say that a lot too.
これもあるね。よろしく伝えてね。その時は、what we Japanese learn, please send our regards to 誰々。But that's really 硬い, isn't it?
It is. I
Okay,
mean, we
okay.
can also just say, please say hi to your parents for me. Give your kids a hug for me. Those kinds of things.
ああ、こっちね。ハグね。
Yeah,
はい
so
は
we'll
い。
say things like that. We can say, please give so and so my regards. Just
う
though
ん
it's a
う
little
ん。
bit more formal.
だけど、say hi の方が確かに、よろしく伝えてねって言ったら、例えば、ジョンによろしく伝えてね、ちっちゃなおじさんおばさんによろしく伝えてね、そういうシチュエーションはよろしくだもんね。Like, in a formal situation, we would say, よろしくお伝えください。
So
Different,
formal.
right? So formal でしょYeah, so that よろしく part is like tossed around everywhere, right?
Yes.
Yes. The other
難しいね、
places.
よろしくは。
難しいよ。
Because this idea of よろしくお願いします, there is no great translation.
So one other one that I hear a lot is さすが.
Oh,
These
さす
are
が。
tough だけど。We say this a lot in casual conversation. The literal meaning, I don't think I know the literal meaning for the word さすが.
Shall we say what Jisho says?
It has a weird kanji. That I can say.
It says, as one would expect, just as you'd expect.
Yeah, the kanji is flowing rock.
Rock. Yes.
So you see it in hiragana a lot. One situation would be, let's say we jammed. I played guitar and Chi-chan played the piano and you're like, いい感じで乗っててさ、すっごい、もう楽しく弾いてますと。素晴らしく弾いてまして、それをヤッコが見て、さすがちーちゃん、いいピアノ弾くねと。How would I put that into English?
さすが implies an expectation. It implies a benchmark. There's a benchmark, right? I don't know that we would express it in that fashion. I think it would be more in that scenario. I might just say, wow, Yako, your guitar was so amazing.
そういう感じだよね。
It wouldn't necessarily be like, of course your guitar is so amazing. I could say it that way. Of course. Per expectations, you blew the roof off. I could say it like that. But it feels kind of cumbersome. I think I would more likely just be like, wow, that was so awesome.
でもそうだよね。ヤッコもね、I feel that a lot of times the translation come up as one, the literal one, as expected みたいなのとか、of course とか出てくるんだけど、I think it's more like wow, and that's it.
Yes.
I
Because
agree
of
with
course
that.
almost sounds a little sarcastic, right?
そうなの。
Like if you got 100% on your test and I'd be like, of course you got 100%.
Right.
I don't know. さすがっていう意味だけど, it almost sounds kind of sarcastic to me.
I think I would say that there are situations where there's a little bit of sarcasm in さすが. People would sometimes use it that way, but I think the majority or how it's originally used is the more of the wow factor. じゃあ、髪の毛切りに行きました。For me, sometimes when you're trying to say こういう感じでこういう感じで, it doesn't really turn out the way you wanted it to. But if it does, I would say, さすが、ありがとうございます。すっごいいい感じ。I would use it in that way.
I might say, wow, you really hit the mark.
Ooh, hit the mark.
Because it's like there was a target that we're going for and they really nailed it. Wow, you really nailed this. Like it looks amazing. I think そのさすがは, I feel like you're basically saying like you got it. It's a bullseye type of a situation. So if I want to express that, I might be like, wow, you really hit the mark. Like this is exactly what I wanted. そういうふうに I think I would express that.
素敵 hit the mark とかさ you nailed it とかすっごいなんかさit's so natural English I hear a lot. I don't think I would be able to use it, but good to know じゃない?
Yeah.
確かにこのシチュエーションはちーちゃんがさっき言ったベンチマークみたいなのがあるっていうイメージで。
Yes, because there is like an expectation of this is what I want, and then they really like got it, and you're like, wow.
そうだ、
それでさすがって言うよね。
There's a line that is involved っていう時があるよね。だから、of course って言うとちょっと sarcastic に聞こえるし、wow って言っといていろんなシチュエーションのいろんな表現を知ってると、それが伝えられるかもしれないよね。
Because さすが feels very much a complimentary word.
Yes.
And we want to capture that feeling
そうそう
first and
そう。
foremost.
そうなのよ。It's a mixture だよね。There's expectation, there's praise, and there's thank you, and そこら辺がくちゃって。It's all in 3 syllables.
Yeah. If we go back to the band situation, I
Okay.
feel like if I said, さすがやっこ、素晴らしい、素敵, right? I feel like what I'm saying in that is, wow, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm saying, I already acknowledge that you're an amazing guitarist. And that was amazing.
So I think that's a very good point because that is what is in that word さすが. I think you already have a certain expectation, the target, or
Yes.
and then you're saying やっぱり. That's another hard Japanese word, but it's like, yes, I don't want to say live up to someone's expectations because that's like ちょっとプレッシャーが強すぎるけど like,
Yes.
yeah, wow, I knew you could do it.
I feel like it's like, I knew you were amazing and that was also amazing.
それがいいね. And
Yes.
oh, I'm
There's
gonna
a
try
lot
using
encapsulated in that. Yeah.
that. ねえ。ちーちゃん的には他にありますか？なんか日本語でこれ聞かれるみたいな。
Yes. Let's talk about the word 頑張る.
Oh!
頑張っ
これ
I often find myself wanting to say 頑張ってね. But what do I say instead? Because
in English.
try hard doesn't sound the same.
Yes. So the direct translation is try hard.
Give it your best. But those feel weird to me. It doesn't feel the same. So often, while it's not a direct translation, I feel like a good substitute would be like, you got this.
ああ、いいね、それね。
If you're going to go run a marathon, we might say, 頑張って, 頑張れ. But I might say, you got this. But I feel weird saying, give it your all. Try your best. I don't know. Those feel weird to me.
I've seen give it your all in translations, but ちーちゃんの言う通りだね。やっこも I agree with you. Good luck って聞くんだけど、それはどう思う？
Good luck doesn't feel the same because
Right?
you're implying luck. That means they're not doing any. It's not about how hard they're trying or their effort or their skill set, right? It's like, oh, good luck. I mean, it is like you're wishing a positive outcome for them. So that part is the same. But ganbare means it's really about that individual's effort and work, not luck. So therefore it doesn't feel the same to me, but it would be appropriate if you were going to run a marathon. Be like, oh, good luck on your marathon. That's okay too. It's just not the same sentiment. It doesn't have the same feeling as like ganbare. So I might say, good luck with your marathon. I'm cheering you on.
そうだよね。応援してるよ。
はい。
cheering you on. だから、give it your best っていうところだね。なるほど。
Yeah.
And I agree with you with the good luck thing. In the same situation, you can use it, but it has a different feeling.
Yeah.
違うとこから来てるよね、こうピューって。
Because the other situations where we might use the word gambaru is like, 頑張ります. You don't tell yourself, oh, good luck. You know, like that's not...
言わないね。
Yeah.
だけど、we say 頑張ります in casual situations and business situation. Like if there's a deadline that we have to meet, 頑張ります is what we say. We will try our best to meet that deadline is what we would say, right?
Yeah. I will give it my all. We're going to take care of this. In that scenario, I might say, don't worry, I've got this. Wait, I'm reassuring the person. I've got this is, I think, the closest. I don't know. It's not the same, but I feel like the more appropriate phrase to use in that moment.
っていうかね、さすが。ちょっと使ってる。さすが。If I were a customer and I heard ね、その相手の人たちが Don't worry, I got this って言われたらもうI feel 安心しましたって感じで、多分お客さんはすごく喜ぶからそれ言うのはいいかもしれないですね。
The other thing I might say in that moment, if this is maybe a slightly more casual situation, I might say, don't worry, I've got you. Meaning I've got your back. I've got you versus I've got this, like this deadline, the piece of work that I'm working on. So that's another way where it'd be like, oh, I've got you. That we would express that affirmation, if you will. 日本語だと it's more about like I'm going to give it my best. But here in this situation, I'm just reassuring you.
なるほどね。素敵。なんか安心するね。聞いてる方はね。こう頼っていいんだみたいな感じ。 になって、任せてとか、
はい。
お任せくださいって言ったら、
はい。
I think it'll be a very good thing to say to the person in front of you って感じがする。
Well, and the other scenario that kind of comes to mind is if we're working on a project together and we're like, 頑張ろうね。頑張ろう。
Yeah.
Let's all give it our best.
そうだね。That's uplifting as well.
And so what is the translation in that scenario? If we're a team and we're like, 頑張ろう, I might say, all right, team, we've got this. Again, I can't come back to the we've got this. I've got this. I've got you. I feel like that's the spirit of the 頑張ろう. You know, I might say something like, okay, let's roll up our sleeves and get after it. There's different little sayings that I might say to rally the 頑張る spirit.
Yeah, like, これってさ、でもあんまり聞かない気がするんだけど。I think 頑張る is one of those words that is often talked about, that is hard to translate. And I don't know if I've heard these versions that much, so いいかもしれない。ね、こう、when you're a child, a lot of times your parents would say, 頑張りなさい. When I'm whining, I would, もっと頑張りなさい Like, maybe,
Ooh,
なんか
okay, that's a different scenario.
Right?
Yes, it's like put more effort in there. Yeah. Put more, try harder.
Right. そうそう、try harder って。
そういう意味もあるね。もっと頑張りなさいっていう。
Yeah, it's the もっと頑張りなさい。
はい。My mom has this little sign that says, 頑張らなくてもいいけど、諦めないで。And it's like got this cute little turtle. And in that context, 頑張る means like you don't have to try so hard, but don't give up.
はいはい、わかりました。
That's what essentially that means. So yeah, like I don't know what the translation exactly is there. 頑張らなくてもいいけど means like you don't have to try so hard is how I would translate that.
Yeah, I think that's spot on って感じがするよね。That's a poem, right? And the reason why it stands out is because sometimes 頑張る can be a lot of pressure.
Yes.
And so sometimes you do need to say, you don't have to try that hard or you don't have to try so hard. But that doesn't mean like you can do nothing or you can, right? But you still have to ね、諦めないっていうのが大事。Don't give up.
Yes.
いいね、その言葉。
My
大
goodness.
好きです。
These are hard. These are hard words. And I'm glad we had a chance to kind of pull them apart a little bit.
ここまで話せる機会はないですよ。And we both have to know both of the words in context, right? And to be able to discuss it. もう大変だけど。だからここまで話せるっていうのは、it's a very good opportunity. So thank you very much.
Thank you. But we have to jump to our pop quiz for today's episode.
それではクイズコーナーに移りましょう。
Hi, Yako-chan. Today I have a slang term for you. It's very modern slang. What does it mean when we say delulu?
Delulu. 聞いたことその音、delulu.
Delulu.
If you were to write it, is it D-E-L-U-L-U?
はい。
じゃあ、間違ってはいないんだね、音は。example とか、なんかヒントありますでしょうか？
I don't know what she's thinking. She's delulu.
頭がおかしい。
Yes. What is the word delulu, the slang term?
どこから来てるかってこと？なんか、ルールって音自体はなんかこう、ボヤンボヤンって感じがするんだけど、delusion!
Yes, like delusional. When someone is being delusional, the slang way to say it is delulu. So I might say, oh my god, I might be delulu, but this and that and that.
いや、やっこね、それいっぱい使い合わせていただきたい。
It's just a play on the word delusional. It's a kawaii way to say delusional.
最近、そういう可愛いのもあるよね、英語に。これは日本人は多分すっごい気に入ると思うから、ちょっと早速使ってみたいと思います。ありがとうございました。はい。それでは日本語の方に移りたいと思います。これもちょっとワードプレイな感じがするんだけど、よろしくを、if you were to express this in 4 numbers、4つの番号で書くとしたら、what are the numbers?
4, 6, 4, 9.
So we would sometimes jokingly text the 4649 when
Okay,
we want
as
to say
yoroshiku.
yoroshiku.
Okay, because 4,
Yes. 4 is
6,
4. 6 is ro.
and then shi, right? Because it's also
Shi.
4. And ku is 9. Q,
Yes.
ku, 9. Okay. 4649. I will be a burden. Thank you for your taking care of me.
Yeah, and you can put it at the end.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Use it in your texts.
できた。
Oh, that's funny. I love those though, the play on words like that.
楽しいよね。
Yes, well, thank you all for tuning in for our rumble today with these difficult words that don't translate super easily. And what do you say instead? How can you still express the sentiment? Let us know in the comments what was your favorite, or if you have other terms that you like to use. And if you liked today's episode, please give us a like, please give us a follow. It always helps us promote our channel, and we are so grateful.
はい。本当にね、今日はなかなか難しかったね。単語自体も難しいけど、考えるのも難しいし、話すのも難しくて、だいぶ苦労しましたが、皆さんいかがでしたでしょうか？何か参考になればと思います。それでは、今日もご視聴ありがとうございました。また次回会いましょう。